I feel very much a part of this landscape. It's been passed to me to look after from other people who have made their mark. It's my turn to look after it and enhance it and share it with others. I always describe Slindon as like a book that you just can't put down. You want to turn the next page, what's coming next. We're standing in what would have been the Great North Wood. And 100 years ago, this area was pretty much clear felled. 20 years later, at the time of the Second World War, it was ploughed up to provide food for the nation. Since 2013, the farm has come back to the ranger team to manage, and we're restoring that area back to Northwood. It's been really exciting. It's a chance for our generation to pay back this land and the local wildlife and nature for that great sacrifice and restore that woodland back again. This particular part of the farm was considered quite poor for agricultural production. It required a lot of inputs to make it viable, so a lot of fertilisers, a lot of pesticides and things like that, which obviously has some disadvantages to our wildlife. So it was an area that we felt confident that we could take out of farming and that it was a right thing to do. So it's 75 hectares in total, which is about 100 football pitches, if you can imagine that. We were very clear from the start that we wanted to have native trees. We looked at the surrounding woodlands to see what were in there too. Another consideration was about climate change and having a resilient woodland. So hornbeam in particular, we feel will do quite well if the planet warms up, when the planet warms up. So that's one species that's been introduced to this area that you won't find in the surrounding woodland. In some places we've planted up all those trees to kind of give it a bit of a kickstart and get people involved in the process. And other places we are letting it do it by itself. We're letting the seed come from those surrounding trees, be blown in, or heavier seeds like acorns being planted by jays or squirrels, and then when they don't come back to them, they emerge into trees, which is really exciting and gives it that variation in height, in variety of trees. So it's really interesting actually. The areas that are naturally regenerating, particularly the area behind me, it's got on a lot quicker, a lot stronger than the areas that we've planted. They're coming on okay, they've survived, they're looking good, they're going to be an exciting bit of woodland. But it's interesting that those areas that we've just left to do their own thing is almost doing better. It's bigger, it's stronger, it's taller, and you can start to pick out, in particularly in the naturally regenerating areas, that those natural processes taking place. What surprised us? I think what surprised us much was the speed in which the wildlife came. We had farmland birds here before, we know from surveys, but now we're getting a greater variety of birds. One exciting thing we've had over this winter and the last winter is snipe appearing in different fields. Flocks of birds that we didn't have before, flocks of starlings that we haven't seen for a long time. One of the most exciting things for me was we started seeing barn owls quartering at kind of 4:30 in the afternoon in the late autumn winter. We never would have seen barn owls here before because there wasn't the habitat in which for them to hunt. Plants that we wouldn't expect to come up. 20 bee orchids appeared in this last summer, which was absolutely fantastic, and then pyramidal orchids, common spotted orchids, early purple orchids just appearing, green-winged orchids as well, and it's just yeah, every season brings a whole new look and a whole new feel, a new species that we hadn't recorded before or hasn't been recorded for decades, and that's great to be on kind of in the front line of being those first people to discover that again and sharing it as well. Getting people of up to 150 at a time to come and plant trees was fantastic. We had days where we invited people, families, to come in and plant, and we laid on extra activities for the children, and the children were more interested in planting trees than den building, than doing nature trails, and that's absolutely fantastic. They do care, the next generation are ready, they do want to do these things. It gives us real hope, I think. So I've got a favourite spot that sits on a crest of a hill, and you can look down, and in front of you you've got the area that's naturally regenerating, and then just around from there you've got the area that we planted, and that's where I like to come of an evening. And my favourite thing is to kind of make myself some dinner, wrap it up to keep it warm, and come out and sit and just absorb that and watch the sun go down and the low light on those areas, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And most of the area of the project is open access too, so you can explore every corner and see the differences and what's going on there, or perhaps find a quiet corner to just sit down and contemplate and listen what's around you. I feel if people understand it and they love it, they'll look after it, and that's what we should be a part of too.